Hey everyone, welcome back to GeekCast. Today we are on episode 2. I am your host David. I'm joined by my co-hosts Connor and Trey. Say hi guys.
What's up?
Hey, baby.
Hi. So this week we have some more interesting topics to go off of.
It's been
To start off,
it's been a hot minute since we've done one of these. We've been busy.
well, let's not go into that.
All right. Good.
To start off, one of the biggest ones that most everyone's feeling the impact of. Reggie Fils-Aimé is leaving Nintendo.
Wah, wah.
I'm kind of heartfelt on that one.
Is your body no longer Reggie?
We're done. We're done. No, honestly, anytime anyone mentions Reggie, or they say it in the news, or I hear it from local people or you or whatever, I don't have anything negative to say about him. Whereas the other owners of some companies kind of feel a little angst toward them. So but he's leaving behind a huge legacy to Connor, do you know the name of the guy that they're replacing?
Yes.
David Bowser.
No, it's Doug Bowser.
Oh yeah, Doug Bowser.
Yeah, there's
Which
been
is
some
kind
pictures already.
of fitting for someone taking over Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually quite fitting. It's actually pretty funny. One of the first days of the announcement, someone posted a picture of Doug from the cartoon on Bowser's body. And I was like, that's pretty
There's
fitting.
a picture of him in his office with Mario and Luigi tied up in the back.
I saw that. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but I am kind of worried about the road ahead.
I don't know.
If he's deciding, okay.
I think that, with Nintendo being the company that they are, I think they're capable of making smart decisions. And I think having Doug Bowser as their new CEO is going to be a good step.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be hard to live up to the legacy that Reggie has left behind. But, I mean, he was with the company for, 15 years or something.
Yeah.
15, yeah.
Yeah, so...
And I think on both sides of this, Reggie seemed to really care about Nintendo, and he seemed to really care about gamers. And I feel like Doug feels the same way from what I've seen in his interactions with the press and his own social media. He seems to actually care. So, that's what you want to see.
Right.
Yeah. From what Reggie said, he's just as much of a Nintendo fan as Reggie was, and as the whole, as he called it, family is. So yeah, I think that they're making. I don't know too much about the guy, but he looks excited, and honestly, I haven't heard anything negative. So I'm guessing no one dug up any skeletons yet.
Right. And I mean, obviously, Reggie's still in charge until April.
Yeah.
I think is his official retire date. But I mean, only time will tell. How Doug is going to be as the COO of Nintendo. And hopefully, in the next coming months, we'll get to learn some more about him.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where anytime Sean Layden of Sony comes up on stage, or anytime Reggie went up on stage, you usually got good news after that, or them talking about something that's coming out that's in the works that they're really passionate about. You know who I could care less to see on stage anymore? Fucking leader of Xbox. They have nothing but fluff words all the time now.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know who the fucking CEO of fucking Xbox is right now.
Phil Spencer, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, that
fuck
seems
yeah,
right.
that guy.
And then there's
Yeah.
that guy who kind of represents him, Major Nelson.
Major
Yeah,
Nelson,
yeah,
the
Major
bald-headed
Nelson,
guy
yeah.
that everyone's supportive of him and everything, and he's playing the newest and greatest games. This game's amazing, and it comes out, and everyone's like, "What are you smoking? This game is shit."
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I mean,
but-
he's paid by Xbox. He's
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
push
Yeah,
product.
exactly.
That's his job.
Exactly.
I
But,
think,
my
if you
point-
gave an honest review, they'd probably be like, "You're fired. Get out."
yeah, exactly. But I mean, basically,
a nice segue to this right now would be to say that there's talks of the Xbox Game Pass games coming to Nintendo Switch.
which is very surprising.
I'm not certain what kind of legal business would have to go into that, because I'm sure there's a lot of there's a lot of different companies whose games are part of Game Pass.
Yeah.
But honestly, To me, it seems like Microsoft, ever since they kind of lost the console war, if you want to call it that, with the PS4 and Xbox One initial launch, it seems like they're kind of leaning into that even more. It first started with every Microsoft game coming to the Windows 10 store. So it was like, well, I mean, if you have a PC, you can play any of the Xbox exclusives. And now it's to the point where maybe you'll be able to play them on your Switch too, which further cements why would you want to buy an Xbox?
Exactly.
I mean, it just keeps digging that into the ground. I don't need an Xbox. If I have a PC or a Switch now, I can play the Xbox games.
Right, yeah exactly.
I mean, on one hand, it's a fantastic idea, but on the other hand, it's the worst idea.
Maybe it's their first step towards getting out of gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of, I hate to say it, they're kind of heading towards a way where, this might be their last console generation. Maybe they stream their games to the other platforms.
Yeah, because then they don't have to keep up with, like the maintenance on stuff like that. Like they can push that on different servers and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're still gonna have server maintenance, but I guess you won't have mass production of consoles anymore, which will save you money. But if you're gonna save money on consoles by going to the cloud, which I fully see a lot of companies are doing cloud-based stuff.
Hey, the Ubisoft game works really well in there. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I played that via cloud streaming, and it worked really well.
Like no lag at all, nothing.
None.
And that kind of bypasses the system spec requirements too.
Yeah,
so.
It might be to a point where you don't need a high-end gaming PC anymore. Just a decent network connection.
Yeah. That would be nice. That would be nice if that actually went. Because I mean, I don't know if you guys ever heard of a software called OnLive, I think it was, but that was probably at least 5, maybe 7 years ago when cloud gaming or just cloud operations were, a thing of dreams.
Right.
And they actually had this service where the beta lasted for years, and you could play AAA titles through the cloud. The only issue with their platform was controls were laggy. Like you did something, and then 2 seconds later, it would finally happen in the game.
There wasn't any lag when I played, so I think they've got it down.
I'm about to say they might have taken that framework and kind of built on it, and like, hey, this is the one thing we need to do to make this better.
Like you would hope so. I mean, it's been what 5-7 years. Like the leaps and bounds that we make in technology is astounding in those time frames.
Now, here's one thing that would suck as a side effect: you don't actually own your games anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You're basically renting your games every time.
Yeah, I mean that's the route that Microsoft is going to be taking in about a year.
Isn't that technically how it is with digital? Now?
No,
not necessarily.
No, because once you buy the game, it is yours. It's just the only thing is that if the servers go offline, you won't have network access, so no leaderboards. And once the game does go offline, there won't be any more patches, which is with most retro games this day. People still play retro games all the time.
Right.
They don't need patches. They were back in the day when games were pushed out and released, and they actually worked.
Some people like to argue that technically on Steam you don't own your games because of DRM, but that's a bunch of bullshit because Steam's not going anywhere for quite some time. Like maybe not even within our lifetimes. I don't know, but
well, I mean, you have the EXEs on your computer, so I mean, as of right now, as far as like owning your games, yes, you can delete them and then re-download them for free. And how Steam is a free platform, hopefully that will never ever change. But one of the things that makes Steam as great as it is that the cloud saves, which a lot of which Origin didn't have and Ubisoft didn't have for the longest time, was cloud saves. And that's one thing where if you're not logged into Steam, you still have access to your games. So yes, you do still have those digital licenses because you have the keys that occasionally with some games pop up and says, hit Shift Tab to minimize this or get rid of this dialog box. So you will always own your games through Steam. It's just a matter of, how they're going to go from there.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think companies like to kind of build on this. I think companies like Limited Run Games are doing a great service because they're bringing physical games that have all the patches already on the disc or the cartridge. So if for whatever fuck all reason, let's say Sony goes down or Microsoft goes down or whatever, and we're out of gaming, we're not doing games anymore, we're taking the PS4 servers down, we're taking the PS3 servers down, you can still play that game single player or offline because you have the game and all the patches on a physical piece of media, which you can't necessarily say if you either A, have a digital download, because you might not ever be able to re-download it, or a lot of games, unfortunately, are releasing with only like a small fraction of the game on the media, on the physical media, and then you have to download the rest of it. Well, what happens when those games, or when the servers go down for those, and you can't re-download it?
Like, isn't like, I know we were talking about this like a month ago or so, like the Wii store.
Yeah, the Wii
closing.
eShop. It went down, and now people can't re-download those. I think for now, for the short term, you can re-download things, but you can't purchase anything on there anymore.
Right. But eventually they're going to phase it out to where you can't even get access to
Correct.
your stuff unless you've already downloaded it.
Correct. Which is bullshit.
Right.
Like, how much upkeep do they really have to keep to allow you to re-download those games? But or they should have transitioned it to where, I think companies should have done this for years with the consoles, but they haven't yet. Closest one to it is Microsoft, where the games you purchased on the Wii, you can now download and play them on the Wii U. And then when the Switch came out, games you purchased on the Wii U and the Wii, now you can play them on your Switch. The closest one that has done that is Microsoft, but it's only a handful of games, from your 360 you can play on your One. So
Yeah, Microsoft needs to stop killing studios and killing games, though, if they're going to keep their user base, though.
they really, really needed Crackdown to be good, and when it wasn't, I think, that's a big blow.
Yeah, they needed Crackdown 3 to be good, and they needed to not cancel Scalebound, because, I mean, there's talks now that the Switch is going to get Scalebound exclusively now.
It's possible.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Bayonetta. Nobody wanted to pick it up, and Nintendo picked it up, made a sequel, and now they're making a third one.
Yep.
It's
Yep,
very
making
possible.
bucks off of something that for some reason, I don't know what Microsoft's reasoning is behind it. I don't know anyone there, but yeah, anytime it's like someone cancels a game, Microsoft, Nintendo can think of the damn word. Nintendo is right behind them, waiting for them to, oh, this isn't going to be a great game. We need to cancel this. Nintendo's like, we'll take it. We'll sell millions.
This is going to sound super fanboy, but it is not wrong. I mean, you
Right,
can go out and you can look at the Metacritic
Oh, no,
scores
not
right
at all.
now. But hear this: every Nintendo exclusive game that I can think of that has been pushed by Nintendo in the past, I don't know, 5+ years, has done pretty well Metacritic wise.
Right.
I think the lowest ones I've seen were maybe 70% on Metacritic, but most of them are 80s, 90s, 10, or 100s. They're not putting out shit. They're willing to delay a game to put extra work into it. They just delayed the new Fire Emblem game because they said it needed more work. And when it releases, I guarantee you the minimal it's going to get is an 80 out of 100. I guarantee you.
Possibly, yeah. I mean,
Because
you
I
don't
have that
hear-
much
you don't-
faith in their quality.
You don't hear the word bad games whenever you mention Nintendo. You don't really hear the word bad games when you mention Sony. Not as much anymore because they're doing a lot better. When you hear Microsoft, all you hear is, damn.
Sony is tentative. I kind of, with Sony, I feel like probably 75% of the first party Sony games that come out are good. They have released some stinkers, but they almost have built up their pedigree to a point where I can feel confident pre-ordering a Sony game.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
when you
yeah.
got competition like Nintendo nowadays, you kind of have to.
The only
Unfortunately, Xbox doesn't seem to want to jump on that fucking.
Oh no, the
bandwagon.
Xbox competition's gone.
The only Xbox games I think that consistently perform well are Forza, Halo, and Gears. Those are the ones that seem to consistently perform well that they're actually iterating on. That's about it, though.
Yeah, 3 franchises in my mind that either need to be in their next installment, come out perfect swinging for the fence, or just lay over and die.
And you can't
Right.
lean on those 3 franchises, especially with how many sequels each of those games has. Like, you can't just keep leaning on those and hoping you
No,
can just
yeah,
crank
no, that's
those
my point
out.
exactly. You just can't keep coming out, even though everyone would say, "Oh, well, Nintendo just keeps coming out with the Mario." It's like, well, it's a different game every time, though.
Different
Right.
mechanics,
But-
different story, you know.
Yeah, I mean, not
Exactly,
Only that,
whereas-
but like the release of Mario titles, I feel like is spaced out way more than Forza titles.
Oh, yeah.
So they have more time to work on those games.
There are usually only like a couple Mario games, actual Mario games released in a console generation with Nintendo. I mean, there's the weird little spin-off ones, but those aren't really like the same.
They still do well.
Yeah.
They still do well. Yeah, Mario games in
Yeah.
particular, other than Mario Party, I think the Mario Party on the Wii U kind of did bad, but other than that, everything that releases on like the Switch and that released on the Wii U that was exclusive did really well. And that's why they're porting so many of those Wii U games over to the Switch, because they did so well. Well, review-wise, they didn't sell very much because the console didn't sell very much because of poor marketing, but that's a whole nother
Right.
conversation about Nintendo. But
Yeah, really.
the Wii U was a great console in my opinion. It just didn't get the love it needed, so it kind of fizzled out. That was my take on that. It was a cool concept, and the games on it that launched were sweet. So,
All right, do you guys have any closing remarks for the whole Reggie thing?
I mean, it's sad to see him go, but I am hopeful and excited to see what the future of Nintendo holds for us.
yeah. And I'm glad he
Yeah.
went out kind of in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't like fired or, you know, anything like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he chose to retire.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
15 years was a good amount of time to put into a company. I think he helped put Nintendo back in a good spot from what it had been. So
Yeah, exactly. I think it's in a good place for him to move on. Even if he wasn't moving on, it would still be a good place for whatever's next to come. So I
And
think he waited for his child to become mature enough to handle its own for a while and let the next guy take over.
Yeah. And I just really hope, and I think he will, I hope that Doug Bowser carries on Satoru Iwata's vision for the company, because out of all the business leads from any kind of company, one of the biggest names that I tend to look towards as like, you know, an inspiration for me, you know, is Satoru Iwata. And I think Reggie kind of carried on his legacy, and I'm hoping that Doug Bowser does as well.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Doug Bowser, you got the reins.
Yeah,
Don't
man.
let us down. Just don't let us down, and we'll keep standing behind you. So the next company I want to move on to is Media Molecule, the creators of Little Big Planet. They're the successful series Little Big Planet. Actually, just had a very successful beta for Dreams. I don't know if you guys have seen Dreams or heard of it, or
I
know
have
that.
you should just catch us up to speed on what it is.
It's
For people that don't
basically
know.
it's not any kind of specific type of game. It's more of a they wanted to branch off a Little Big Planet and make it to where you can get into this game and literally create whatever you want. Was the dream for this game, and so they called it, Dreams. And so what they've done is they've modeled, I don't know the exact number, but thousands, probably millions of assets to put in this game. And what came out of the beta was a PT remake, a Dead Space attempt, a sci-fi horror first-person shooter remake, and a couple of rhythm games. So basically, you can make whatever you want in this game. Like, they've got level designers, creative directors, like people that have never messed with games before, getting in and making full-fledged games from this game. And so they were actually, like, I saw 3, maybe 4 posts from Media Molecule in about a day or so. And like I said, PT was remade, looks fantastic. Dead Space was reimagined, kind of in a different kind of art style. And like I said, a sci-fi first-person shooter horror game was kind of, I don't know if it was fully made or not, but some screens from that came out. And they didn't have any hiccups during beta, no issues. I signed up for it. Unfortunately, I didn't get into it, but I'm signed up for early access, because early access is coming this spring. And normally, I'm not an early access person. I will not buy into early access until the game comes out. But if you purchase the early access in spring for $30, that is all you pay. for when the full game comes out.
It's not bad.
So it's I'm actually very excited for it because all the content that's come from it is from one game. It's almost mind-boggling to see the amount of content. You guys will have to check out the content after we're done here and just see the stuff that people created from the assets that are pushed into one game. Like they said during the beta, the tools worked flawlessly. They just want to work on more polish and work on getting the employees' dreams into the game and the story. I think they said there's going to be a story that they want to portray, but after that's going to be like Little Big Planet. Make what you want, publish it, and there's been some game companies that have hired people based on their Little Big Planet creations for their design teams. So I think it'll be a good segue for people to get into games that haven't been able to get in there yet.
Like game design.
Yeah, game design, level design, story, music.
I think the concept is interesting of sort of having like a software like development tool that you're I guess like putting behind in a game aspect. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't think it would be a game that I personally would be interested in because I remember when Little Big Planet was pretty big. No pun intended. But I wasn't really into the creation part of it. I liked playing the stuff that people made and all that. Same thing goes with Mario Maker and things like that. I'm not... maybe when I was younger, I would have really enjoyed creating things and going on. But I kind of find more enjoyment out of seeing what people make.
Right. I mean, that's always fun to look at, but having the ability to have that creative outlet is also good. I mean, am by no means an artistic person, but I'm sure I will put a little bit of time into this game when it comes out.
Yeah.
Your photoshopping is getting better.
Thank you. I try.
But yeah, I think this is going to open up a lot of avenues, a lot of doors. Hell, even maybe I can create something that's worth a damn. And Connor, you can play it if you get the game and have a game night based around it. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to it. I mean, for a game that's early access, that you pay a $30 fee or $30 for the game, and then that's you have the full game even when it releases. I'm really hoping they do a collector's edition because I've always been a big supporter of Media Molecule and the fact that they're not afraid to take chances. I mean, this is a huge chance to take on this, and
so
Sony's behind them.
Is the version that you can pay for in advance, is it a physical or is it a digital game?
I think it's digital.
Probably.
I'm not 100% sure yet. They haven't said a whole lot yet, but they have signups for early access right now, which will get you into accessing it before you have to pay for it. But even if they announce, physical version, I will most likely be getting the collector's edition of that because that game looks absolutely beautiful, gorgeous. It actually kind of reminds me of the other indie development title that's in the works right now, where you can like draw like sidewalk type things on the wall, and like the whatever you draw actually becomes a real thing and like follows you around the world. So it actually looks, I forgot the name of it, I'll have to look it up, but some amazing games coming out here in the next year. So
yeah.
So next up on the list, Activision laid off 800 people despite having a record year, but I also need to mention that they paid one of their executives $15 million. So trying to figure out.
It's corporate America, dog. That's how that works, man.
Yeah. I think, to kind of tie it into one of our previous stories, there were people like Satoru Iwata who, when their company was doing poorly financially, he took the hit. He took a pay cut so he wouldn't have to lay off any employees. I don't think there are many companies like that.
Yeah, I mean, like it takes a special kind of person in a position of power like that to actually care for his employees more so than his bank account.
Than his bank account, exactly.
They have to know. Even let's say the head of Activision Blizzard. Maybe he didn't give a shit about the employees, Maybe he was in it just for the business. Now, what if he publicly took a pay cut and said, I didn't want to lay anybody off. I went ahead and took a pay cut for this year, right? So let's say he does that, right? That's good press for a company that is in desperate need of good press right now.
Right.
Like their name is mud.
Right.
At this
Yeah.
point.
Activision's name is mud. Blizzard's actually been developing some good titles. Activision, whenever they joined with Blizzard, I thought was the worst decision ever.
It is a terrible
Right. I mean,
decision.
like hearing this news coming from, something affiliated with Activision doesn't surprise me.
No, it's just another nail in that coffin of your opinion on them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Blizzard, in my opinion, was doing fantastic. I mean, they had this huge slew of games. I mean, some of them are kind of dying out as far as, like the player support, or not player support, but the amount of players that are doing them. But they've got like 5, 6 games, I think, that are current, that people still play. Activision has Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the only thing they're really putting their money into, because it's the only thing that's really making them money.
Yeah, Call of Duties are always, I mean, regardless of any of our opinions on Call of Duty, I mean, I've liked them over the years. I wasn't a fan of how they did the most recent one. I just think that there's just a negative attachment to those now, mostly because of some of their business practices, such as, the loot boxes and the, what was it? There was a year they did the Call of Duty Elite, where you had to pay an extra, $50 for some shit.
Well, and I'll say this, like, a lot of that just has to do with, like, the new generation of gamer. Like, we're just, like, a couple of older gamers, like, bitching about shit. But, for this generation coming up, like, it's normal for them. Like, they don't know any better. They didn't grow up with the experiences that we grew up with. So I feel like, in a way, they're kind of getting cheated, which is unfortunate.
By the time such a thing as DLC came to be, it was probably around the PS3 360 or it would have had to have been. So when paid DLC came out, I felt like a lot of it was maybe worth the money. Yeah. Like when they said,
was at first,
when, let's say, Call of Duty World at War was out, this is just an example that immediately popped to my mind. There was a season pass, not a season pass, but a map pack pass. You got, like, was it 3-4 maps, something like that, and it was like $15. But you got that. I think you got some other guns, and you got like an extra zombie mode or something like that, and it felt worth $15. You're like, you know what? Yeah, I've been playing this game. I think it's worth it. Right. But to me, there isn't really any value, and it kind of breaks the game in a way when you have to buy. You don't have to. I mean, it's an option, but when there's the option to buy, like, skins and stuff like that.
Ugh.
Because inherently you're going to have some people like myself who really would like to just have all the content available. Yeah, I'd like to just pay $15 and maybe I get every map that they release for it. But I don't want to pay for the weapon mods or the things like that. I don't want to pay for new skins. That should just be something I unlock in the game. Make the game fun to play. Let me unlock those along the way. And I'm sure we're beating a dead horse at this point. This argument's been had for so long, but it's, I don't know. There's no fun in that to me. That's why I don't have a lot of interest in free-to-play games, because if they're free, they're getting their money somewhere. And that somewhere is they're going to want me to buy skins. They're going to want me to buy loot boxes. They're going to want me to buy this and that. Some of that game is being held back from the player.
Right. And unfortunately, like, that has come down to game companies realizing, like, what they can get away with, because there is always going to be, a market that is willing to pay that money for those skins, even though it has no real tangible effect on gameplay.
Nope. Not at all.
I would honestly maybe have more interest in games like Fortnite or Apex if they said, okay, our game is $60. There is no loot boxes. You can unlock all of the stuff just by playing the game. You have to do these kind of challenges. You have to get this far, this many kills, this level, whatever. You can unlock all this stuff. It's $60 up front, and here you go. I would feel better about that, to be honest. I don't feel good about the loot boxes.
Except for the fact that that's actually how companies are losing money, is the $60.
Yeah.
Because they make more money doing that stupid microtransaction shit between Fortnite. Granted, I am an avid user of Epic Games Unreal Engine for just development purposes, but the launcher has Fortnite built into it, and it didn't ask me, but there's always the option there to install Fortnite. I installed it when it first came out. Few games in, I uninstalled it because it wasn't for me. They made $8 billion alone off of selling skins.
Yeah.
EA has done the same thing. $8 billion alone off of selling skins. I'm like, how are they making so much money off something that doesn't exist?
Here's
It's just absolutely mind-boggling.
It's the new generation of gamers. Like,
Right.
They have sold them this, lie almost of like, oh, if you don't have this, like you're not like as cool, or whatever.
Look at this sweet skin I bought.
It's a status.
Right. There's actually one thing I wanted to add on top of this.
Rather than actually caring about the consumer, it's about making money.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of videos I've seen titled helping this kid out with his Fortnite skins. I'm like, oh, well, this may be interesting, helping a kid out. So I watched the video, and I find out that apparently it's a thing where kids get bullied for not having skins in Fortnite.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
No, there's tutors for it now to help kids get better at Fortnite and shit. Yeah.
That is ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
I got bullied in high school for being short, not for not.
I got bullied for liking games.
Wait. You got bullied for being short, David? You're like the tallest one of all of us. What the fuck?
I was short in high school, okay? But anyway, we're not going to go into that.
For like fucking senior year. You fucking dinosaur.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I did. I had a growth spurt in junior, senior year, whatever. But anyway, I was listening to this video, and this kid was kind of, you could tell in his voice he was upset, just trying to play the game, have fun. He's like, yeah, I get teased every day at school for not having the premium pack or whatever the hell I don't know what they call the packs, but for not having the skin pack. And the broadcaster is like, you're being teased for not having these skins. And then 5 minutes later, the broadcaster spins 50 kid the most epic skins that are in the game. I'm like, well, that's pretty awesome that he did that for the kid, but
that doesn't solve the
bullying
problem.
Has changed.
No, it doesn't.
Bullying has changed, apparently. No, it's not, because the kid's gonna go to school. Hey guys, I got these skins now. Oh, what, your rich daddy buy them for you? And I'm like,
well, not only that, but like, they're gonna continue to come out with skin packs, and he's not gonna be able to afford that. So
exactly. So he's got to dump more money and dump more money and dump more money until it's like, wow, man, I thought high school sucked before. Holy crap!
What came to my mind is there's one game that actually I didn't feel bad making little microtransactions purchases in, and it's a unique kind of experience. Pokemon Go. The reason I did not feel bad buying lures and things like that in that game, I never really bought the Pokeballs. I didn't spend the money on that. I would buy the lures and the stuff like that, but I felt okay with that because at the time, so many of my friends and coworkers and things were playing that game, and there were Pokestops all around my work that, on break, drop a lure, and you and a bunch of friends hang out and catch a bunch of Pokemon together. Mm-hmm. That feels different than like, well, I'm going to buy this, new skin for my character, a new hat for my character in Pokemon Go. I don't care about that shit, but I cared about the experience of having fun with some friends, playing with them. I would pay $5, every couple weeks to do that. Buy a bunch of lures and just hang out and do that. That feels different to me.
It is a strange concept to have that like social interaction outside most of the time with Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Where like you get to hang out with like friends that you've known for years and take like a trip down nostalgia lane, get to catch Pokemon that you've like grown up with as a kid, like playing those games, like doing all that stuff, and then like they sell you this idea of being like a Pokemon catcher, a Pokemon trainer, like you can catch them, battle, gain XP with them.
Gotta catch them all.
Yeah, it's Pokemon Go. As much as I think the following has dropped.
Oh, actually, it's increased.
Has it?
It's increased.
Okay.
They make more money each year passing.
Do they? Well, I mean, that was a concept that I think was a great idea, but it still kind of just feeds into the same problem as Fortnite with the microtransactions. I mean, honestly, like it doesn't give you anything tangible.
Yeah,
the
if it's any
argument
kind of
could be that like, yeah, you make those memories, but I'm sure like, you know, the new generation of gamers are making kind of the same memories playing Fortnite. It's kind of it's kind of reminiscent of you know, like back in the early days of like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. You know, you get on and like play these games with your friends. Like Modern Warfare was something I used to play all the fucking time. And you know, like you log on now and it's like, oh, this friend hasn't been on in like 7 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know? So,
it's like, oh, it feels bad, man.
right.
I think
But like it's nostalgia, I think, you know, for the older gamers is what they used to like try to sell you stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit different only because of the fact that, yeah, you can have fun playing Fortnite and you can make memories, but spending the money doesn't increase the fun you have with them.
Right.
But with Pokemon Go, maybe it does. Maybe, you know, buying those lures, it's sharing it with other people, because when you activate a lure, everybody benefits.
Right.
So you're increasing the fun
That's
for
true.
everybody.
Yeah.
Versus
That's true.
you buy a skin for yourself, you buy a weapon thing for yourself, you're just benefiting yourself.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else can probably see it, but they're gonna see it for 0.2 seconds and not give 2 shits about it. So
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, cool, you got that
Right.
thing, right?
cool, you got that thing that I want, or you've got that thing that I've had for a year and a half now. Congratulations, you're dead. So, but it's kind of
yeah.
like it's kind of the same thing with Apex Legends. I've been playing that off and on for a few. Well, I guess it's been out for maybe 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, like it
I've
came
been
out the
playing-
day after the Super Bowl or something, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I've been playing that off and on, and it does have loot boxes. I have been to the store, have not bought anything, just to see what was, just to see if there was actually a store there. Of course, there's a store there. It's a free-to-play game, but there is character skins, there's weapon skins, there's they have banners that show like what character skin you currently have, your kills, your damage done. You can kind of modify that a little bit, so they have banners that you can buy, all that kind of stuff. You get one loot box every time you level up or whatever. I've got like 6 in my inventory that I haven't opened up yet because I just don't care anymore. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's one of the things where, yes, I'm getting older as a gamer, and yet whenever I play Overwatch, when I get a new loot box, I open it up, and it's 4 random things. I don't really care anymore. I mean, yeah, it's nice to open up these things and, you know, to see, because at the end of every screen, the winning team gets to do their victory poses, and then to play the game, they get to do their victory video, whatever it is. I just like to go in and play the game. I don't care what the extra stuff is I unlock. Whereas going to single player games, if I unlock something in the game, I'm ecstatic about it because it progresses the game further. It progresses me further. It has nothing to do with, oh, you know, someone's gonna come over and see that I have this thing. They're not gonna care. It makes the game more fun to play because it's part of the unlock system that you don't have to pay for because you've already purchased the entire thing.
Yep.
So anyway, hey, speaking of spending more money, I don't know if you guys have been on Twitch recently or not, but Twitch Prime, do you no longer get ad-free viewing? So, which is kind of turning me off of it a little bit. I had Amazon Prime, the yearly subscription, and they told me, hey, we're going to increase our prices. I'm like, I'm not taking part in that. So I temporarily have subbed to their monthly thing, which it won't happen for very long, just whenever I buy stuff, and then I'm going to let it go. But your base subscription to Amazon Prime, which of course translates to Twitch Prime,
Like
you have to
$130.
view, or you can pay $12.99 a month, I think it is, which is what I
way
do.
worse
Is-
than
Yeah, I
deal,
feel
though.
like you end up paying more that way.
You end up paying more, but I'm going to end up canceling it here very soon. You get to watch full-length 30-second to a minute ads. It doesn't matter if you have ad blocker or not. You're not getting around it. At least not yet. The coders out there in the world haven't come up with ad blocker, 2.0 or anything like that. But whether it's the Twitch app on the desktop or twitch.tv, unless you pay the Amazon Prime full year or you upgrade to Twitch Prime's Pro, I think it is. I may be wrong on that, but there are ads now on Twitch, and I'm watching less of it.
I mean, the whole Prime situation, not just Twitch Prime, but Amazon Prime, is becoming less and less of a good deal. And
Yeah.
First, it started with they got rid of the game discount. You used to get 20% off pre-ordered games, kind of like Best
That
Buy
was a
did.
big, that was a big hit for me.
I loved that. Then they decided, well, it's 2-day shipping, but every time, you want to do the 2-day shipping, we're also going to be like, well, if you don't choose this, we'll give you a credit for a movie or a book or something. So they're kind of like guilting you into not taking it. But then I've noticed, I placed an order last week to get, I collect the Jurassic Park Funkos, and there was 2 that I was missing. I ordered them with Prime 2-day shipping. Took 3 days to receive one of them. So their 2-day shipping isn't even fucking 2-day shipping anymore.
Right.
I mean, no, it's not a huge gripe. I didn't absolutely have to have it. But what if it was something that, I was really counting on to be there in 2 days? Right?
I actually had the same issue a few weeks ago. I ordered a book off of with some programming concepts. Ordered it on a Wednesday with Prime shipping. Got it Sunday afternoon. I'm like, what? What happened to the Prime stuff? Like, oh, there's been a delay in your order. We're getting to the bottom of it. And then it was delayed 24 hours later. I'm like,
right, and it's not like, you get a refund for that money that you spend.
They should automatically give you a partial refund for the month.
Or like a credit.
Yeah, or a credit.
Some kind.
If they don't fulfill their one thing that they're supposed to do with the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was considering contacting them and asking them if I can have some kind of credit, but I mean, it was an $11 book and I got it in 3 days. I'm not going to complain too much about it. If it's something that's time sensitive, then I'll probably raise a gripe about it. But
My
I think
uncle says if you complain about it, they'll give you a partial credit. But is it really worth fighting them on it?
Right.
They should.
I think they're slowly phasing out the perks of Prime while increasing the price of Prime.
Yeah, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. And that streaming service, there was some pretty good shows on it. I'll give them that. There's some pretty good shows on there. Unfortunately, it's my fault, of course. It's the last place I think of to go to shows. My first place is I'm like, oh, Netflix or Hulu.
Right. Which is also increasing in price.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean Netflix is going up $1. That's
right.
I mean, if you got 1 million people subscribed, that's $1 million.
Theoretically, the increase in price is supposed to help them make better Netflix originals or whatnot, but
I mean, it looks like they have no problem churning them out right now.
Exactly.
I mean, boom, new Netflix original every week. It's like shit.
They're just trying to make more of a profit on, the content that they're putting out because they can.
Yeah, they can. That's in there, right? Because I mean, they were the first video streaming service, right?
They killed fucking Blockbuster.
Yeah,
and now everybody misses Blockbuster.
Yeah, family video survivors of Blockbuster can't come back. I like to know how the hell that happens.
Yeah, it's a whole argument about why Blockbuster should technically exist because there's nothing that has filled its hole in the market. But
the reason Blockbuster went out of business was because of poor management. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and they were trying to go the digital route too. So.
Right. I mean, they had some concepts that they implemented too late that other companies are already doing well.
Well, that and they should never have tried to compete with the digital space.
Right.
Somebody else already did it. Okay, lean into your physical movies. You still have a better selection than Netflix does.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Lean into your physical stuff, and I will still be there every damn Friday night. I guarantee it.
It was the only place where you could rent games. I mean, now you can rent games at Vintage Stock,
Redbox.
And there's a small amount of them at Family Video you can rent, and Redbox. But the Redbox ones are a fucking joke. The price on those? Are you kidding me?
Plus, that shit's all fucked up too.
Yeah.
There's nobody there to fucking watch and maintain those.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So if someone goes up to it and beats the living crap out of it for not getting the movie they want, well,
or just scratches the fuck out of the disc. I mean, fuck, they could put the wrong disc in there.
Yeah.
And
you could put the wrong disc in there.
Redbox is a fucking joke.
Some people have been printing pieces of paper or photos with the disc digital image on it and putting that, and people are like, "How is this happening?" People will find a way to screw things up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's human nature.
So.
Fucking it up.
But yeah, we can move on from that, I guess. Yeah.
So, what do you guys think about this new Samsung $2,000 phone?
I think that.
Are you guys gonna get one?
No.
Fuck no.
Wait, sorry, the folding phone.
Yeah.
No.
I have a couple of major complaints about it. Number one, mainly that it's an Android, so it's still gonna run like shit.
I've been hearing Android's been doing a lot better.
I don't know, man.
I haven't used one in years, but I don't trust them anymore.
I haven't used one in years either, but I have talked to some people that have given me some good arguments for Android. I'm like, yeah, well, how's the OS running? Is it run smooth? Is it slowing down on you? Well, I'm like, yeah, there it is.
It's like you hesitated, you're like, it's fucked.
Yeah.
The other concern that I have with the phone is, you know, when it folds out, it's only like a 7-inch screen tablet or something like that. Like it's not very big. Like it's bigger than a standard phone, which I don't know why.
Well, I mean, how much bigger do you want it? Do you want like tablet size?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna try to compete in the market, like why not just buy a fucking tablet? Like why do you need it to be a phone too? On top of when it folds shut, it's like the thickest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. It's like a brick almost.
I think the huge thing is...
Well, no, it's an exaggeration, but
okay.
the thing is it's thicker than most phones these days. Like even, you know, my fucking iPhone with the OtterBox, like it's a little bulky, you know, but you take it out of the OtterBox, like it's the thinnest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. But that's still twice the size of my iPhone in the OtterBox.
I've got some other concerns for it. Speaking of OtterBoxes, how are you going to put this phone in a case, for one? Because I don't like taking my phone out there naked because I don't want it to get all fucked up, right?
Especially if you know you like I lease my phone. Like I don't buy it outright. So any damage done to it, like
it just takes one drop and your screen could be shattered.
Yeah.
And this has a screen on both sides, so it's waiting to break. And then
I'm thinking it won't be actual glass. I'm thinking it might be
plastic, but it can still break.
Yeah, that's true. I guess if you just had to be one of those people that
I don't understand. The plastic will be
how...
cheaper to repair than the glass.
Exactly. I think that might be one of their go-tos. But I don't understand. I'm not gonna knock on anything, but knock on wood or whatever the hell, glass. Yeah. How do people get cracked screens so often? Every teenage girl I see out there walking around with their phone out has a shattered screen. I have never broken a screen on my phone.
It. Yeah. I mean, there's been times where I've dropped my phone, and had I not had a case on it, it probably would have.
Oh, dude, yeah, I drop my phone at least like every other fucking day, but because I have the fucking Defender case on, like I know it's not gonna get fucked up.
I like to protect the thing that I mean, in my instance, I have the XS Max, so you know the $1,000 phone. I want to fucking protect that thing, right? Even if it was a $500 phone or a $200 phone, I'd still want to fucking protect that thing because it's $200 or it's $500, right?
Right. Not to mention, it's, you know, nowadays your phone is like, you know, arguably one of the most important things in your life. It's your, you know, your lifeline out to social media, like your friends,
emergencies.
Yeah.
And so this is a $2,000 device. You don't think I want to protect that in my, you know? And so another thing that I'm thinking about is I wonder how these phones are going to look a year from now. Let's say I went and I bought one, right? I use it just daily use. I'm not rough on it. I just, you know, I flip it out and I'll use it, you know, I walk around with it and stuff. That area where the screen bends in the middle, just the way that fucking plastic typically works, you're going to see a mark start to appear there.
Like a crease.
Like a crease, because you bent it. Take a piece of plastic and just bend it a whole bunch of times in your hand, and you'll start to see a crease start to bend there.
There's going to be some wear and tear.
I think it's going to get like a weird little crease in the middle where you've been bending it so many times.
They found a way around it.
I mean, I know that it doesn't shut completely, like there's a gap between it, but
yeah, there's a little bit of a gap.
I still think that there is going to be some sort of deterioration on it.
Oh yeah, or the hinge could possibly break.
That
weakens
being said,
over time.
You know, like obviously the hinge is inside the phone, but you know, say you don't have a case, there's no way to protect it. You do drop it, you break that hinge. You know, that phone is now broken and useless. You know, like the use that it was meant for is no longer capable of performing that task. So what's the point?
I don't know. It's too much.
Let me ask you guys a hypothetical then. If there was it doesn't even have to be Samsung, a $2,000 phone, whether it's foldable or not, and it had every feature and the most stable OS, guaranteed, okay, not guaranteed to work perfectly 100%, but guaranteed to be the best, would be like advertised to be the best phone you've ever had, with all the features you've ever wanted and all the features they promised, would you guys pay $2,000 for a phone?
No. And I don't even think that
it's way too much.
I don't even think that this Samsung phone is offering that anyway.
No, oh no,
So,
they're not. I'm just
yeah,
saying
so, like,
hypothetically,
the-
if you could basically buy the perfect phone for
Even
$2,000,
hypothetical, let's say that because in my case, I like Apple phones just because I like their OS and things like that. Let's say they put out a $2,000 phone, I still wouldn't buy it because
Right.
that's too much. I think $1,000 was hitting the too much mark, but the ability to trade in my old phone made it a little bit easier. It took a lot off the price because I had an older iPhone that I was able to trade. Had I not had that, fuck no, I wouldn't have even bought the XS Max at $1,000. There's no way. That's too much.
I've still got, the iPhone 7, and it runs perfectly fine.
Yep.
Like, everything's cool with it. Like, it's in perfect condition because I kept it in the case.
Yeah.
That I have no reason to upgrade, and I don't plan on upgrading anytime soon unless they stop supporting the OS, which they won't.
Which they won't, yeah. Because I mean, it's OS that's built
yeah.
into every phone, so.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm not going to upgrade my phone unless something far superior comes along, which I don't think will happen. I mean, maybe in the next, 5 to 10 years, but that's a long way off.
Yeah, I didn't update for a long time. I had the 6S before going to this one. So I had mine for quite a long time, and I was fine with it, except for I had it so long that the battery life was starting to wear out, and that's understandable after the amount of time I had it. So
I mean, my battery still does fine. The only time it really takes a hit is if I use Waze or something.
Yeah.
But that's
once in a
performance intensive fucking app, as well as I don't use it that often. So
yeah, between location based and constantly tracking your locations. So.
Right.
I think this phone is for the very wealthy, tech reviewers and the
it's a status icon.
Yeah, there's gonna be
it's a way to show your money.
Yeah,
and
the suckers, of course.
Cool
yeah,
things.
Like, what was it? Didn't they have a gold iPhone at some point that was actually made of gold?
Yeah.
Like it's like that. It's like that shit.
Yeah. I agree.
But I think even if I was fucking wealthy, I would still have some concerns about it.
Well, that's because you're a fucking sane-minded person.
That's because exactly, because we got a group full of sane people here. So.
I'd still have concerns about the performance and the durability of it. But yeah,
I would say that any normal consumer is not going to purchase this phone.
Yeah.
I
would
find
say
it.
The majority of normal consumers won't. There's going to be.
I find it way too high.
Some of the early adopters.
I find it way too out of the price range that most people can afford.
For
a phone.
Yeah. Most people that actually can watch a budget and know how to manage their money will not go for this.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless they drop the price $500. Like, oh man, it's a steal.
They'd have to drop it 1,000 and then give you a trade-in discount on it.
For a phone that is technically a beta of a new technology. Not even a new technology, but a new fucking design, I guess.
I mean, they've been teasing folding screens for 5 years now.
There are
so.
other companies that do folding phones that are less heard of.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, I'm sure they still cost more money. Probably not quite as much as $2,000, but
they're like $1,500.
Yeah,
but still, oof.
No thanks.
No thanks. Too much.
I mean, I will spend maybe $1,000, and that is a huge maybe, and that's if the phone is if they're discontinuing every model if Apple decided, okay, we're gonna do the iPhone 11, none of the other iPhones will work with this, so you have to buy the new one. We'll give you a discount on it, regular $1,800. Then of course, I mean, if I didn't have a choice, then I'd upgrade. But I'm actually the same way with you guys. I went from the 7 to the 8 because honestly, I'm not a big fan of the face scanning technology. So
yeah,
that's a big no bueno for me. I love the fingerprint reader. I absolutely love that because I can open up the phone without having to worry about the thing taking my damn picture every time.
Yeah,
but it's getting to the point
I
where,
preferred the thumbprint thing. I wish they'd bring it back.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's why I haven't got rid of my.
I love the screen size and my battery life is great, but that's about the two
for
things
now.
I like. Yeah,
I could go with the bigger screen size, but the fingerprint scanner is one thing that I think is one of the greatest things that they've ever done.
I just this is my thing with the screen size. I have never been someone who has wanted a large screen for my phone. It's supposed to be a mobile device, something that I can comfortably slide in my pocket, You know, I'm not gonna sit there and use it for like streaming video on like Netflix or Hulu. Like, I've got a laptop, I've got a PC for that specific reason. Like, I'm never in a position where I'm like traveling long distances or something and I need that capability. So for me, the fact that the screens keep getting bigger, I feel kind of, in a way, takes away from the direction we should be going.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, when you think about it this way, you really break it down, what is the benefit to paying that much more than, say, the Samsung S10 or whatever the fuck is the most recent one? What's the price? You know, there's a price difference between the two. Are the features on that one worth that much more to you?
Are you getting that are better other than the bigger screen, really?
I'm having a hard time justifying that with almost any technology now, because let's say, I mean, there's gaming PCs that are out right now, and let's say there's one that's at $1,000, right? And it can run most games on high, and maybe a lot of them on ultra, right? I think a mid-range PC could do that. Shit, my 970s can still run games, some games on ultra, right? Let's say you got a 1070 or whatever, and you paid around $1,000 or something like that for it, and it runs that. But there's also a machine out there that is, you know, it's maybe $2,400, right? It's got the 2080 in it or something, right? It can run every game on ultra, but is it worth that big of a price jump just to make a couple games look a little bit better?
Well, it also depends on the hardware and your use for the computer too. So,
but I mean, if as a consumer, just for games.
But if you're buying a $2,500 PC, $2,400 PC with just a graphics card in it,
it's not just a graphics card. It's other things.
Well, I mean, just a better graphics card, and your end goal is better looking games. Then it all depends. Like I said, it all depends on the type of person you are, and if you want to play your games at the highest fidelity possible.
I feel like the price value just isn't there. Like it's the amount of bang for your buck to me just doesn't seem there. Playing games at 1080, you know, at 1080 60 frames or 4K, you know, I don't know. It's just not there for me. I can play Dying Light in 4K 60 frames with my 970s. I could get it a little bit better if I had a better graphics card, but there's a cap at a certain point where it's not going to get any better, or it's going to get better and I'm not going to notice it. My eyes aren't going to pick it up. Like, and I think we're rapidly approaching that wall where, yeah, we can make this game look better. You're not going to be able to notice it because your eyes can only see so much.
The human body can only process so much.
Yeah.
So
we're rapidly approaching that wall.
I think that
we're still about 10 years away from it. But
that's not many years in the grand scheme of things.
That is true. That is true.
I think that as a society as a whole, we are getting to the point where we're kind of reaching a wall in the terms of technology. Like, we're not seeing the rapid growth and advancement that you saw previously.
Yeah.
So
think of NES to SNES. There was a pretty big jump there. SNES to N64, huge fucking jump. N64 to GameCube, huge fucking jump. And then, you know, I think the GameCube to Wii is not a good reference because they went to motion control. But let's just say PS2 to PS3.
Not that. I mean, there was a noticeable difference, but not.
There was a pretty huge jump.
That was a bigger jump.
It was smaller than what you would have seen from the SNES to the game, or to the N64.
Yes, I would agree that. And then the jump from PS3 to PS4. Think about like games like Last of Us on the PS3.
It looked amazing on PS3.
It still looks good.
It looks amazing on.
It still looks fantastic.
PS4 as well. But...
And so that jump is even smaller.
Right.
The jump to the next bit of gaming, it's, you know, you can play. Let's say, you know, the Xbox One X is, you know, is the best performing console out there. I can't argue that bit. It has the power to do more things than the other ones do, right?
True, yeah.
I've seen it play, and it's not that big of a jump. And I think the systems that comes after the One X and the PS4 Pro and the Switch, it's not going to be that big of a jump. I can play games on my Switch and I play them on my PS4, and I don't notice that huge of a difference, to be honest with you. Sometimes you see
old, man.
I guess if you want to say that's what it is. But
no, you're right. There's not huge jumps anymore. We're taking little stepping stones now. So.
And the prices of graphics cards and gaming PCs, it's so fucking high for such a little bit of change. I'm sure it wouldn't look like night and day if I paid $2,000 for a new gaming computer. The only spot where it might look night and day is maybe VR. But there's not a whole shit ton of VR content. So
there's not a lot of VR content. They're not exactly making headway with resolution as far as VR goes. But I will add the argument that as far as like higher end GPUs, it may seem like there. I don't know if this was where you were going with that, but it might seem like there's not a lot of value to those, and I think that as well. But with the amount of texture packs that are being put into games, not a lot of a lot of people probably at least kids probably think that games are put together and they only want to run on high end GPUs because that's how they'll make the money is high end GPUs. They don't care about that. They care about the realism of the world. Like everyone's like, oh well, let's make it as real as when you go outside you can't tell a difference. Okay, you're gonna have to pack a lot of information in this little 1 foot by 1 foot square, and imagine a 50-kilometer game that size. You are going to need to run that game with as much video RAM as you possibly can, because basically your eyes is your video RAM for your body. That's right. We don't have to wait for the world to render. It's already there. We already know it's there, and we don't have to see what's out of our line of sight because it's out of line of sight. So it's the same thing they do with games. If you're not looking at it, it's not rendering. Like if you're looking straight ahead, nothing behind you will show up in the game at all, like ever, because that's the way they've come up with optimization. But but it's like hard drive requirements are going to get bigger because textures get bigger because everyone wants that realism whenever they get into a game, which is going to require more RAM to store all the stuff that you're going to need within the next 5 minutes. And the processing power is going to need to process 2 million different instructions that are coming in all at the same time, because you want to be able to take down this boss in 30 seconds and it's rated for 5 minutes and you're in the most realistic looking world that's ever been created to date. Yeah, so there will always be that need for, granted, I still think that $1,500 to $2,000 PCs have their place in the world. Anything above that, to me, you are going overshot. But I'm also in the development scene too, so a lot of RAM helps me out a whole lot. A lot of CPU helps me out a whole lot.
Yeah, it has other reasons.
Yeah, it does. But anything more than $2,000 for PC, I'll call it $2,500. If I was doing very well financially, I would have no problem doing maybe $2.5 or $2,500 for a PC, because I would actually use everything that comes with those, and I would know what's coming in them. Whereas I'm sure the average consumer, most people don't game dev. Yeah. So when they buy their PC, they, spend $2,000. Oh, I got this $2,000 beast of a rig. Really, what's in it? I don't know. I just bought it.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen some $4,000 machines out there that I'm like, I can't even fathom why you would need that.
If you're just playing games, no, there's no read for more than probably 15.
The ones I was looking at were targeted at gamers. They were like gaming rigs, but it's like, I can't.
I feel like the reason they were targeted as gaming rigs is just because there is a bigger market for that, so they would. Have the
absolutely.
Potential of making more money.
The market for gaming is probably 80 to I say probably between 50 and 70% of PC users, whereas the development crowd is maybe 5% total.
Right.
Yeah. But
because not everyone can develop, not everybody wants to develop, and if you do have that option, just not everyone first knows what their specs are or knows what development requires those specs. But anyway, going off on a tangent here.
Yeah. But speaking of games, I was just thinking we could maybe quickly go over some of the games that we've been playing in the past week or so. Maybe games that we beat or games that we started and are hoping to beat.
Okay, yeah. If you guys want to go ahead and start, go for it.
You want to go start or me
to? I know we both just recently beat Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
And we're playing through some of the DLC. I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's turning out to be an interesting game.
You liking it?
Yeah, it's good so far. Actually, like a couple weeks back, I ended up finding an old fucking game, an old top-down RTS game called Close Combat 3, and I ended up picking that up for like $5, and I played through that again, which was a good like nostalgia fucking trip for me. But yeah, like that's really all I've been playing lately.
Nice.
All right.
I recently beat Batman Arkham Knight. I did not like that game. I don't want to go like too far into it, but I think the missions were kind of repetitive. The puzzles weren't really that much fun, and the combat could be, in certain circumstances, was kind of clunky and hard to see what you were doing. I don't think it deserved all the praise that it got. It was visually a great looking game, but I think it had quite a few problems.
It definitely had some hiccups at launch.
Yeah. And then, as Trey was saying, we've been playing Far Cry. We beat Far Cry 5, and we beat the Vietnam DLC. We're hopefully going to be starting the Alien and the Zombie DLC pretty soon, maybe this week.
Yeah, I'll eventually have footage of that up once I get around.
Yeah, we have
to
some pretty
editing
funny stuff, gameplay from Far Cry 5.
it. We are still doing our playthrough of Resident Evil 0. We're almost done with that.
Yeah, we have about 1 hour left of the game.
Yeah, we managed a workaround and a fix to the audio, so that won't be an issue. Hopefully, continuing on, but obviously, like the next few episodes coming out are still going to have the problem until we get to the point where we're at currently.
And the only reason we didn't re-record the footage was because we had already re-recorded it, because we hit kind of a broken part in the game where if you didn't have X amount of ammo, there was no possible way to beat the boss. And we didn't have any more save files because we didn't know we needed to make a whole bunch of different save states. And so we restarted.
Overwriting over the same one.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
There was no way we were playing through it a third time, right? So
not now anyway. Maybe back for posterity's sake, we might do it again.
Yeah, once we've finished the series,
Later,
maybe if people are, clamoring for it, but yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully, we'll be starting the next installment in the Resident Evil franchise soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it won't take us nearly as long. This is going on like fucking 30 episodes now for that one game because we suck.
Well, honestly, though, it makes sense, though, because if you play an 8-hour game, you break that into 20-minute videos.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be several episodes. It's going to be quite a few. The last couple things, I started Metro Exodus. I like what I've played so far. It's kind of an interesting game, and I hope that it kind of goes in a different direction than the previous two. I liked it, but I don't want it to get tired.
Yeah.
But I haven't played far enough to know. And then the last game, I haven't started it yet this week, but I installed it, and I plan to, is I'm playing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the 3DS. So I hope to start that this week. And, so
Nice.
it'll be Far Cry stuff, Metro, and Monster Hunter for me.
Okay.
So.
I also, pretty much the weekend it came out, started Metro Exodus. I have been enjoying it. I've been having some issues running it. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's just the game based and not Epic based, so I don't think the launcher has anything to do with it. But I have been having some problems occasionally. But as far as the gameplay goes, the gameplay is fun. I do my best to, scrounge up ammo and use it only whenever I absolutely need to. The environment looks fantastic. The environment looks great. But I took a little bit of a break from that because I don't like beating games because I know it's over. So I took a little bit of a break from that. And last night, I started up another playthrough of Last of Us. Believe it or not.
Nice.
Yep. Get my brain ready for it. And because, literally the post-apocalyptic world of Metro Exodus, just the music, I'm like, all right, I got to go back. I got to go back to Last of Us. And then just going through a few areas of Last of Us, I'm like, oh, this music is amazing. I just stand in one area and just look around.
I kind of want to watch Lainey play through it, and then so I'm prepped and ready for the new one that comes out.
Like
But
I
she's never
don't
played
know. I don't know that I could sit through another playthrough right now. Like I wouldn't have time to, but I would definitely watch someone who's never played it before play it.
Yeah, because it's kind of that game. It has like this kind of effect on you when you play it. You know, it's very story driven, very emotional, very shocking at times. Oh yeah, and it's interesting to see people's reactions to those things.
Yeah, it's good storytelling.
I've actually watched quite a few YouTube videos of watching typical YouTubers and actors and actresses reacting to the first part of that game, and everyone's reaction is just like either "Oh my God, how could you guys do that?" or some people have even like teared up a little bit, and some people have like everyone has a reaction to that first part, and it's just something that like you want to see how people react to that first part. Because for me, I don't even have a kid, but watching that just like tore me apart. Yeah, I was like, God, this is the first 30 seconds of the damn game. What the hell? So that was what it was, made me want to go through. Granted, I've already played through it once, and so going through it again just is me slowing down, discovering more of it, going through and looting more of the stuff, finding more of the stuff. So I just wanted to be in the world again. So yeah, I've made it to fall where I'm at the dam now. So
okay.
But anyway, I do plan on playing quite a bit more of that over the coming weeks. Bought some of the DLC character fighters for Dragon Ball and getting better with those, and just going through some online ranked matches, lose some, win some. Not a big deal. I've been playing Tetris 99 on the Switch. I've been playing Dead Cells on the Switch. Progressing quite a ways through Dead Cells to the point of I had a boss fight today, and we both had very little life left, and I still lost because he was so fast. Yeah, I'd never seen his mechanics before, so it was my first time learning, but it's actually quite a fun game, I will admit. Tetris 99 is quite rage-inducing because I still haven't learned how to play it yet. Because it's not just simply building blocks, it's also
competing with other
kind of racing others, to get to first place. So it's kind of rage-inducing, but it's also, kind of goes back to the simplicity of Tetris.
Yeah.
With, I'm playing with 99 other people. And you kind of forget that for a little while. It's just like, and I even forget about the options I have at the top of the screen for attacking people, for defending myself. I just play the game. And when I lose, I'm like, oh shit, there's other people here. I need to work on those.
Lainey's been really into that game. She's been playing a ton of it.
I've been doing probably about an hour or so, maybe a day. And I've been doing a little bit of Apex Legends. I'm not too terrible at it. It kind of sucks that you have to get up with random people, but I don't know a lot of people to play it, and it's a nice drop-in, drop-out game, so you don't need to spend a lot of time on it. And I have been doing Overwatch off and on again still, playing some of the new characters. They're in the Lunar New Year right now, so we got some skins coming out for that makes your character look all cool. Practicing my game dev and doing some more coding, but other than that, I need to get back into Red Dead Redemption. I really need to get back into
beat that game.
I still fucking beat that
Both
game,
of you need to beat that game.
God damn it.
I need to beat
good.
it. I need to beat it that way I get Connor off my ass, and maybe he'll play God of War. So, I guess that's pretty much it. Other than the giveaway.
We're currently doing a giveaway for Middle Earth: Shadow of War for the Xbox One. I'll link that in the description below. We're also gonna do some tweets about it coming up in intervals as it progresses through the competition. But yeah, so we're looking forward to giving away something other than Destiny. Even though I was getting tired of that. We do have a couple more copies. Yeah, we still got like 3 more copies, so we'll
Christ, man.
The next one we'll probably do like a 2 winner.
Yeah.
On that one, or maybe 3 and just get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea.
So that's coming up.
But yeah, other than that's really all I have. We're gonna try to get some more horror movies under our belt.
We're gonna do a spooky cast soon. We're not quite sure on what movie it's gonna be over yet, but
it's down to 2.
Right. Yeah, it's down to 2. So look forward to that coming in the next 2 weeks to a month.
We'll say 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We'll say 2 weeks.
We'll shoot for 2 weeks, but you never know.
I'll give a quick plug to the limited run games that are out currently for people to buy. Okay. There's an open pre-order right now. I think it runs for another week or 2 for the brand new Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove game on PS4 and Switch. So if you were a fan of Toe Jam and Earl back in the day, those are available. They will also be the Switch version will also be able to be pre-ordered from Best Buy at a later date, and it will be exclusive to Best Buy. Then there are, these probably won't be there for very long, but there is the limited run, just standard edition, and the what they call the waifu edition. It's the collector's edition of Koihime Inbu Ryo Rai Rai. I'm not
say that again.
Koihime Inbu Ryo Rai Rai. Aha! I did it that time. Which is it's a fighting game. It's a like a like a Street Fighter kind of game.
That just makes my day that there's a waifu edition.
Well, it's Y-fu, like kung fu, because it's a fighting game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And it comes with some little goodies and stuff. And then the other game that they still have a regular limited run release and a collector's edition for is the physical release of King of Fighters 97 Global Match on the PS4. So, and Koihime Inbu was on the PS4 as well. So, they sold out of the Vita version of the King of Fighters game, but they still have the PS4 version in stock. But that will probably run out soon. And in addition to that, they have some little goodies like lapel pins, keychains, hats, shirts, and some other little things to go along with those games if you're interested. So.
Hashtag
Sounds
sponsor us.
Yeah. If you want to sponsor me or give me a slight discount because I buy some of your games, I did pre-order the Koihime Inbu game because I played the PC version of I don't want to say it's the first game because the version they have is the first game plus a whole bunch of extra stuff. But I did play that one and I liked it. So I wanted to play the PS4 version with all the content, and it was only $30, so it wasn't too bad.
All the content.
And I might get Toe Jam and Earl when it comes to Best Buy, so I can get that sweet 20% off. But I don't know. I want to see some reviews and some people play that first as well. So.
Yep, I've only got until September to use my discount, and then it's over.
Oh, I'm gonna have to make use of it. Once it gets close to September for me, I'm gonna look at all the games on my list and be like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna drop some money and get these games because that's the only way to get the discount."
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is. After Best Buy loses that, we're gonna be full
price for every game from then on.
Yeah, that's the way it's gonna be unless someone can come up with some competition. Out to anyone that has a store.
Which means Connor will be buying much fewer games.
Right.
I'll probably be buying the limited run releases because they're only typically around $30.
It's alright. You've already got a fucking giant.
I got a lot of games. Yeah. I'm not hurting.
We have to have quite a few games. So I mean, my backlog is a couple hundred on Steam at least. So
yeah.
A couple hundred. I think your Steam library is more than that. But
yeah.
No, I checked recently. I'm at 280, I think. 230, 280, somewhere around there. A lot of it's stuff we used to get for reviews. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's where I got most of mine, or Humble Bundles. So
Humble Bundles.
Other than that, go ahead and check out our playthrough of Resident Evil. We'll be starting the Umbrella Chronicles probably maybe next week or the week after. And we will be posting the Far Cry content soon, hopefully. And we post every day at noon.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah, well, every weekday through noon. Yeah.
Monday through Friday.
At least for the Cannon Fodder series, the podcast obviously will release whenever.
Yeah, we'll release those whenever, and the extra gameplay footage for Far Cry and stuff like that will come out whenever. Yep.
All right, you want to round us out here, David?
I'll make a perfect circle and go around it. Yeah. So. Anyway, that'll wrap us up for GeekCast number 2. Thank you, Trey and Connor, for joining me, and we'll see you guys next time with probably a spooky cast.
Awesome.
Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and all that good stuff.
Yep.
So thanks for the support for those who have subscribed, and
on our way to 100.
Yeah. Let's try to get to 100.
Yeah.
Get that,
we're gonna have a party at 100,
customized URL.
Yeah, we're a little over halfway there.
Yeah.
Hoping to get there soon.
I will say I like the new image a lot. I do like it.
Yeah. Kelby did a great job. Shout out to Kelby. I'll link her Instagram in the description as well. But yeah.
Okay, sounds
Alright.
good.
Well, until next time, guys.
All right, later.
See you.